Hey, what's up everybody? In today's video, I'm gonna be talking to you business owners out there about a business philosophy that helped me make 48K in 48 hours. And it's a business principle called Who, Not How. You may have heard of it by the author, Dr. Benjamin Hardy. It's a book called Who, Not How. And this book changed my entire life because it taught me a reframe, and different entrepreneurs have taught it and coached it over the years. But the reason I super duper love this concept is because basically the concept of who, not how is something you implement every time you're stuck. So let's say, for example, you have a problem in your business, a product or service you're trying to sell, partners you're trying to find, issues with customers, clients, whatever it is. Most of the time, what most entrepreneurs do is they start asking themselves how questions. How do I solve this? How do I monetize this? How do I make this work? How do I make ads work? How do I market? How do I do social media? How do I handle this issue? How do I hire this person, right? And we get into how mode. And while how is very important, in my experience, obviously it's limited as I've grown my 7-figure companies, but there's also a common denominator I've noticed, because I've had the privilege now of interviewing over 100 multi-billion and multi-million dollar entrepreneurs on my main channel, The Passionate Few podcast. If you guys listen to it, I'm sure you guys know it. We'll link it down below if you're a new watcher. But long story short, I've had the privilege now of sitting down with a lot of these high-level entrepreneurs in various industries, right? Titans of industry. And I'm actually going next week to Dean Graziosi because they're doing a launch in a partnership with Tony Robbins. Just got back from interviewing Andrew Tate in Romania. Low-key working on interviewing Trump and his camp. So I got a lot of cool things up my sleeve. And transparently, in this little 100-day video challenge, I'm sharing these gems and kind of dropping wisdom. So that's just a little context if you want to subscribe. Anyways, I go back to the main focus. So how did I use this philosophy, right? Basically, Dr. Benjamin Hardy talks about in his book the fact that something that all these entrepreneurs I notice with them is that anytime they get stuck, the way they get further faster is they find who's that already have solutions to sets of issues. So as an entrepreneur, sometimes you faced issues, 1 or 2 or 3 things at a time in a category. But see, the ultimate advantage is not the time, days, weeks, and hours it'll take you to solve that, but imagine how it would go if you actually found someone who had experience in that exact problem and the next 30 you'll encounter in that category. How valuable would that be to your business? How valuable would that be to your momentum? How valuable that would be to solve whatever issues in front of you? So let's take it practical. Let's say you're good at products or marketing or service or whatever it is, and you have a partner that's good at your weakness. Well, now you can complement each other, right? So it's that kind of thinking. And it's an obvious philosophy of who, not how, but here's how I actually implemented it and how it actually made me cash, okay? So now that you have a big picture. Essentially, and guys, I appreciate you if you're rolling with me here. I'm on the treadmill, kind of shot this raw, not my most flattering angle, but again, I'm doing this 100-day challenge, so work with me as I share these raw thoughts, unedited and inspired inside of this 100-day challenge. Basically what I did is I wanted to see if I could, we had a product or service that we were thinking about launching. We decided to launch it at a 12 to 15K price point. And instead of going one-on-one to get a beta group, I asked myself, because me and the team were talking, like, how can we market this product to launch it? We could do ads, we can organically mention it in interviews, we could put it on social media, we could ask affiliates. So we start brainstorming all these ideas. And for me, if there's anything I've learned, is that the most successful, sustainable business models are the ones that you can do recurringly, right? They're smooth. There's a great expression in the military. It says that slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And so the goal is to have smooth transaction. If you can have a high velocity of smooth transactions, that's when you can really build a sustainable big business, right? And see, most people sometimes go for like the profit or the overstretch or whatever it is, but eventually that'll have to course correct because that can't be sustained, all right? Is that making sense here? And so now that I kind of made that point, the way I did it is I said, what if we found a who? Because I had read this book and it says who, not how. And the philosophy of who, not how is like finding the right who can solve this problem. So instead of saying, how do we get to 100 grand a month in revenue? Or how do we sell, a bunch of these? I said, who would know all my clients? Who would know all these customers? Maybe they're already grouped somewhere. And I started thinking about, there's a lot of people who have different programs and masterminds and coaching programs. And I thought to myself, I wonder, what if I offered them to offer it to their group? Because there's coaches that have access to, or consultants or different, business entities, legal, otherwise, that they have connections to like different niches of people. Why don't I reach out to them and say, hey, if you promote this to your group, leveraging your credibility and expertise, and you're down to do a joint venture deal, I'll give you a percent of sales, and it's healthy and transparent. And lo and behold, I started getting people to say yeah. And so I had different people talking to their different coaching programs, no money out of my pocket up front, right? Because they essentially participate in a profit share of anything we sell based on the agreement, because their value is access to the audience. We obviously have to fulfill on the service and social media content management and all that. And so what we did was that deal. Lo and behold, he had been having an event or like a mastermind, and we talked to a few different partners that were trying similar things. And basically in front of his live audience, he mentioned it. And out of that whole live audience, we ended up selling about 4 or 5. And those were sold each for 12 to 15K. And so at the end of the day, after splits and whatnot, they ended up being almost $50,000 in 2 days off of a thought, a text message. And the craziest part is that this was a good buddy of mine. And so we literally never even hopped on a phone call. It literally texted it to him, and he was down for it. 48 hours later, it was paid in advance, right? And so, it's just these little moves in business that as you're starting, sometimes you think about the thing in front of you for $1,000 or $2,000 or $2,500, but sometimes there's different ways to frame things in business. And the more you can bend it and find people who can bend that, you start to realize that there's all these unfair advantages and rhythms where you can have everything exactly the way you want it if you're persistent enough to put someone in place to help you figure it out, right? And maybe you're tight on money, you can still get resourceful and offer them rev share. Or if you have the money, invest in it and think about the ROI of that. You got to take those kinds of chances and leaps, because those problems are not going to solve themselves. However, if you find the right who's, you'll get those issues solved faster. Okay. And I know earlier I mentioned that I interview 100 billionaires and millionaires. One of the things I noticed, I'll never forget, I interviewed John Paul DeJoria, right? The multi-billionaire founder of Patron Tequila and Paul Mitchell Shampoo and Conditioner. And one of the things John Paul told me was essentially, and I kind of observed it too, because we were in his office setting up for an interview in Beverly Hills. And I noticed that he's sitting at his desk. This guy runs, keep in mind, this guy runs not one, but 2 multi-billion-dollar companies. And when I interviewed him, I believe he's the 45th wealthiest man in America. I'm sitting in his office. I'm tripping out that I'm living my dream. I'm like, holy cow, how am I here? This is crazy, right? And if any of you guys, again, know my main channel, you'll know these interviews I'm talking about. Oh, treadmill finished here. We're doing a light one today while I teach you guys. Anyways, I was in his office, and I asked him, I was just like, dude, do you ever trip out that you're running a company with all these employees and stuff? And he goes, Omar, all the time. Most people have no idea what they're doing, right? That's the big secret. All the billionaires know. And when someone tells you that, it's different when you hear it in a movie or a film or in media. But when you have a little private moment one-on-one with somebody of that stature, it hits you different. And here's the other thing, is I noticed that aside from that, if you're taking imperfect action and you have good people around you, you start to create momentum, synergy. And momentum is where energy and growth and passion and vision and the team's momentum really get built, is when you can create engines of momentum, the habit of momentum in your life or business. And sometimes it can translate from one area to the next. But he was in his office, and every time somebody would come in, and people would come in often, they'd poke in while we were setting up over the course of half an hour. And I'd say, hey, JP, can we get this done? And he'd go, yeah, talk to Paul, tell him I trust his decision. Someone else would come in and say, hey, we need to get this document so-and-so signed. And I'll say, yeah, absolutely, you can sign it. And let's make sure to get that done by 3:30. Let me know by the end of the day. It was like he was a master at people coming in, and he would throw people and solutions as things came in. So he was getting so much done without him actually doing it himself. But he had his system so dialed that he was literally in that position. Now, imagine when you're running your company, your business, even if you're just starting or at intermediate level, how high leverage is that? Are you really working on your business, or are you so in it that you can't work on it, right? High-level billionaires, people who really grow their income, build systems. They're working on the systems, and I know that if they build the systems and teams, the system and teams are what grow the business, not them as an individual, right? Like a general going to war, usually he's behind the scenes with the strategy, recruiting people. He's not necessarily on the front lines with a gun, because he needs to focus his energy on everybody's guns, everybody's lives, right? On the whole team, on the whole vision. So maybe that's you, maybe it's not you. But if it is, I hope this video helped you. And I just want to share this concept of how I made $48,000 in 48 hours by finding a strategic partner Instead of all these different marketing methods, I just thought like, who do I know that's easy to ask, and there's no money risk on my side, and the upside is I inherit his goodwill to his audience. Those customers already exist, and it's a win-win. It's not this big scary thing to launch and we're gonna be like, how do we do this? How do we do this? Instead, the question we ask is, who can we find that has an easy and quick solution to this issue? So again, at whatever level your business is currently at, beginner, intermediate, etc., right, wherever you're at, I've had the privilege to coach now a lot of 6, 7, 8-figure entrepreneurs on various areas of life, business, branding, marketing. Everyone's stuff's unique. And again, if you're interested, you can join our free SKOOL community down below. We also have my free social media, and you can apply for one-on-one coaching in the link down below if you want to learn more about that inside of our 6 and 12-month programs. I'm taking on a handful of people, but it's something I'm inspired to do on the side. It gives me energy, gives me juice. And these are the kinds of concepts I like to share. So ask yourself, who has the opportunity? Who has the client? Who has that next move? Who has access to that business you want to start, that move you want to make? Who has access to that question? Who has access to your next client? Who has access to that next deal or that next commission? Someone has it, and you haven't confronted yourself to ask your question of who? Who can get me to the income you want to be at? Not how, who? You want to make 10 grand a month? You want to make 20 grand a month? You want to make 50 grand a month? You want to make 500 a month? All are available 100%, and all of them have people that can help you do that. All of them. The question is, who are you going to ask, and when are you going to stop asking? Some people stop when they get the right person. Some people never get the right person. But new levels require new people, new mentorship, new vision. So anyways, just want to share that with you guys. It'll help you level up your life and business. That's just one example, but I've done this tons and tons of times in business ever since I learned this concept, and I've seen it in so many different areas of life. So trust me, it'll change your life. I was stuck and tried every personal development tip out there, but until I got that book, Who Not How, and I applied the principles, and you can download it for free or the audiobook or watch it online or buy it. I recommend buying it. But if you follow Dr. Benjamin Hardy and check out that book, it talks about how great people throughout history, it's loaded with examples of it, of how being solved by the who. So ask yourself, who, not how, can take your life and your business to the next level? And that's the answer you've been looking for. All right, guys, thanks so much for enjoying this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what other videos like this you want me to answer. Again, I'm doing a 100-day challenge where I'm shooting these raw, imperfect. My hair looks messed up. I hate the angle. I'm recording. I don't even know if it sounds good, but if you enjoy this, it would mean the universe to me if you share it with a friend, and hit the subscribe button, and also check out my videos on the Passion Few podcast channel. Gonna get better and better at these. All right, God bless, much love, and I'll see you tomorrow. Comment down below what questions you want me to answer. God bless.